Should you buy in a homeowners association? Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Tom Byrd with Keller Williams Realty in Peachtree City, Georgia. Today we're going to discuss the pros and the cons of living in a homeowners association, or HOA for short. We have had clients that fall on both sides of this argument. Some absolutely refuse to even look at properties located in an HOA, while others absolutely prefer them. It's completely up to the buyer to decide based on their lifestyle and their personality if they want to live in an HOA or not. Now let's start with hitting the highlights for the case against the HOA. First, it's the obvious one, the cost. HOA annual fees or dues can get very expensive depending on what amenities that the community offers. In Texas, we actually lived in a gated community that had a guard shack and a manned guard as well. Obviously, we were paying that salary as the HOA and it was not cheap. Now, on the other hand, some HOAs only provide small amenities such as management fee and just shared space upkeep, and those fees can be fairly reasonable. Now, the next case against HOAs, at least in Georgia and other states, if you fall behind on dues, an HOA can foreclose on your property. Obviously, it's rare occurrence as no one wins in that situation, and it's costly and time-consuming for the HOA to go through that process. However, it remains a possibility. And finally, the one that drives most people away from HOA, it is the rules. Most HOAs have things like architectural guidelines and require permission of the homeowners, even if they want to change the exterior paint color or add a fence or something like a shed in the backyard. They can also prohibit things like parking vehicles on the street or storing a camper, trailer, or boat. It's typical that yards must be maintained, including the grass short, and things like your garbage cans out of view. Now let's look at the highlights of living in an HOA community, which frankly are kind of the opposite of what we just talked about. Amenities, amenities, amenities. Some HOAs have things like pools and tennis courts, basketball courts, a clubhouse that can be enjoyed by all the members. A lot of times in these communities, the neighbors meet each other while enjoying these amenities, and it can certainly create a much more tight-knit community. There's studies that suggest that the values in an HOA can be as high as 4% higher than non-HOA homes. A lot of that has to do with the rules that we talked about. HOA communities tend to be much more maintained and uniform. Just as we spoke about the rules earlier, your neighbors must comply as well. That keeps you from living next door to a neon green home with weeds so high that you can't even see the junk cars and blocks parked in the front yard. Now, in all seriousness, HOA rules are there to protect the value of everyone's home investment and keep the property from becoming an eyesore. So, should you live in a homeowners association community? It all frankly comes right down to your personal preference. But I hope that by us hitting these highlights of the pros and the cons, we can at least give you a little bit more to think about and see the other side's perspective. Now, if you have any questions about this or any real estate questions whatsoever, we would love to serve you, so feel free to reach out. And until next time, bye.
Do you want to know more about real estate? Be sure to watch this next video. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll know when I drop my next video.